I am convinced we are becoming a global community, because I think it's just maybe different rates of adoption about different solutions in different places, but really the challenges are the same. I mean, I think we're all facing the mobile surge. You know, if you think about it, just certain applications, most companies wouldn't consider a cloud-based application only a couple of years ago, and now they're pervasive. It really has, you know, become the standard. So I think that what you see in the UK is you see the deployment, I think, maybe just slightly ahead of some of the US companies in terms of mobilizing the workforce. Although it's very close, the whole industry is changing so quickly as we move at the moment. And you know, a lot of these customers you actually see are inputting global standards. So when we're talking to some of the customers that we share in the UK and the US, we're actually seeing the same drive to actually unify the actual applications and services that they actually offer. But I really think the thing has become broader than just one solution. I think what the customers are saying in both continents are, one, we need the applications that are specific to address our requirements, but two, we need the services. And I think what we're seeing is a bigger demand to actually provide that lifecycle service. So what's the right application? What's the right device that we actually use? And who's going to support me with this, you know, multi-device, multi-platform, multi-application environment for the many years that we actually hope to have that in place? And you know, where we've all had tough levels of service, we're actually got even tougher levels of service now, because it's the individual user that expects to be connected all the time. Any outage is unacceptable. So it's how you manage that environment and how you actually respond to the challenges of the customer. I think one of the more interesting developments in terms of services we've actually seen is in the analytics. How do you actually avoid issues actually arising? How do you actually get ahead of predicting where we have a device that's not standing up to the particular application it's actually in, or an application that's providing, or the user base is having challenges with the application in terms of the way it's been designed? So I think that, you know, few people in the early days understood that the analytics is going to be as big as the actual solution itself. And now what I'm seeing more often is a lot of discussion around, you know, what services you can actually provide to help me run this business for the duration that we're going to have it in place. So, you know, the US and the UK, it's very much the same. I live in the US, but I even got a UK accent. But at the end of the day, I would say we've become one global community with much the same requirements, and we're driving to some, you know, very similar trends at the moment. We're really on a journey. You know, I think that you've got to say we've got purpose, but we're going down a road as we're evolving the capabilities to meet the changing demands of the environment. I think you go back 15 months, we were two separate companies. We were Peak and we were Ryzex, and on the face of it, I think the original intent there was we brought a lot to each other. We were the yin and yang in terms of a match, and I think we found that. I mean, we have, you know, the Ryzex and Peak geographical coverage allows us to be both, like, you know, comprehensive in our solutions in the US and in Europe. But I think we found more. I think we've actually found the ability to build and add, you know, our services together and make one and one make three. I really think we've done great in terms of the build out of mobility solutions. That's clearly a big growth area for us, and I think we're leading in terms of any company I can think in this environment in terms of their services to actually deploy mobile solutions. And there are other growth markets. We've got some strong, you know, SAP roots over in the States, and that's been important for us, and I think we'll begin to see some of that come into Europe. I think as we address our customers, they're global, and so they're asking things from us, both in terms of mobility, both in terms of SAP, and I think another great driver for the business is track and trace. I think track and trace is, you know, being regulated both in Europe, it's regulated in the US, and you know, clients in the pharmaceutical, petrochemical, you know, tobacco industries, automotive are being forced to trace their products down to very individual components, know where they are, manage recalls, and be able to account to the authorities in terms of where their products are. just a very special time for us to be involved in, you know, 2 or 3 major growth areas. So you think of the company's ability from providing hardware through to services and software, but it really is now getting very verticalized in terms of the growth. It's challenging, and we've seen it today. We saw it in the applications that we talked about in the housing authorities. I think you'll begin to see a greater expertise starting to verticalize around particular applications in particular industries. So it's exciting times. I think bringing Peak and Ryzex together was a win-win. We added Catalyst halfway through the year. There's a lot for us to do in terms of organic growth, but you know, our appetite continues and the journey continues. So. And we'll continue to build this business to address the very large customer requirements we're seeing.